Hi there, in this video tutorial, we're going to step through the process of how you can connect your laptop to the Newline panel. The Newline panel version that we're using today is the R series, which is the version that we have in most of the conference rooms here at the district office. There is a newer panel that's out there in some of our classrooms, which is the Q series, but in terms of connecting to your laptop and displaying information, the differences are very minor. So let's go ahead and start the process off here by getting things connected. First of all, you want to make sure that the board is powered. So there's a power cord behind the panel. Make sure that's plugged into the wall or into a provided power strip, and that power strip is turned on as well. Secondly, down here in the bottom left-hand corner, there's a little power button. So go ahead and select that once. You'll hear a little clicking noise, and the board takes about 15 to 20 seconds for it to boot up. So while we're waiting for that, we're going to talk about the different cables that you can connect and will want to connect to project from your laptop to the panel. Probably the most important one is going to be the HDMI cable. HDMI is going to give you audio, video, as well as transfer whatever content is on your computer to the panel. So in this case here, I have the HDMI cable plugged in the back. You really shouldn't have to mess around with that. It should already be plugged in. In my example here, it's plugged into HDMI 2. And so this particular HDMI cable that I'm going to be using here today, I'm going to use with this adapter because I'm using a MacBook Pro, which doesn't have HDMI, so I have to use this adapter. If you have a PC, that PC likely has HDMI already built into it, in which case you could just plug the HDMI directly into your PC. So with my example here, I'm going to plug into the HDMI on the adapter, and we're going to next talk about the second cable, which is really an optional cable, which is a USB cable, which will give you the ability to come up to the screen and touch and control your menus. If that's something you're interested in, you can use the USB-C, and so in my example, I will. And so I'm just going to go ahead and plug that into the USB slot here on this adapter. Now, the other end of this adapter here is USB-C, which will plug into my MacBook Pro. So we have two cables plugged in here, and I'm going to go ahead and plug those in here to my USB slot on my MacBook. Now we're ready to sort of light things up here. So the home screen here tells you to press start. So we'll go ahead and select that option, and it brings you to the home screen here. Now off to the left-hand side here, there's some different buttons with a lot of different applications that you can use with the panel. But off to the right-hand side here, it shows you all the different input sources. And so we're going today, as I mentioned earlier, be using HDMI 2, and the Newline panel is smart enough to know when something's plugged in because it'll light it up. So that's what's lit up. So I'm just going to go ahead and select that one time, and it'll start to read the content from my computer here, and it'll give me this little preview window. You have to be patient, maybe wait 5 or so seconds for that source to change. But once you get that little preview here, by using your hand, you can go ahead and tap that source or that screen there, and it'll take it full screen. Now when it brings it full screen, the text might be maybe a little too small to see. So if that's the case, you want to check your display settings. So up here now, because I have that touch functionality turned on with that USB cable, I can control the menus from here. So I can go to the Apple, you want to choose System Preferences, and then in the menu here, you'll find an option for displays. So let's select that option, and then under the display tab, just make sure it says it's optimized for Newline. And then under that scaling option, if that's presented to you, choose the second option from the left, and that's going to give you the most appropriate viewing ability with transferring that information from your computer to the Newline panel. So the second thing to check is if you're going to be playing any audio from your computer, you want to make sure that that audio signal is coming through the panel as well. And if it's not, again, we'll go back to the little Apple here, we'll go back into System Preferences, and then within System Preferences this time, you want to make sure that you choose the sound option. And so under sound, again, very similar, you just want to make sure that it is selected for the Newline display port. By default, it probably will say PC or your MacBook. So make sure it says Newline, and then you can go ahead and close that out. So again, some basic troubleshooting tips here. If things aren't coming up here from your computer to the Newline panel, just make sure that the HDMI cable is fully snug into the adapter, as well as making sure that it is plugged firmly into the back of the computer here. Second thing, when you are ready to power down, in the bottom left-hand corner here, just push and hold that button for maybe 5 seconds or so, and the screen will go black, and it'll be ready for the next person to come up and plug in. So thank you for your time, and good luck.